You want to dive into Unreal, but you're having a hard time setting up your IDE or creating your Unreal project? Well, in this video tutorial, I will show you how to set up VS Code for Unreal. I will cover the following topic: why do I use VS Code, how to get proper Intellisense that gets properly updated with the highlighting, and how to format and save, and maybe a couple things more. Please note that English is not my main language. I do a French version of the videos. I'm not making voiceover. I redo the video, so you can find additional information in the French version. It's possible. So let's get started. First of all, I will not cover the Visual Studio Code and Unreal Engine installation themselves. Simply go and Google how to install Visual Studio Code and Unreal. On my side, I am using Unreal Engine 5.7. So first of all, let's start a blank project. So while this is loading, why do I use VS Code? A couple of reasons. I have a low-end PC, so when I first tried Unreal with Visual Studio, it was really hard on the performance. It took a lot of processing power, and the fan was going up, and it was lagging. VS Code is a bit more lightweight, and I like the default dark template of VS Code. I find it easy to navigate. It's easy to integrate AI tools like Copilot. Refactoring is great, and the thing I like it's really maintained. You get a lot of updates, so I think on my side I like it. So let's create a new project, and we're gonna take a blank project, and I'm gonna do a new one. VS tutorial with Intellisense. All right, and VS Intelli. All right, I'm gonna call that. So, should you take Blueprint or C++? That is the question. I strongly recommend to take Blueprint, not because we are gonna do a Blueprint project, but it's easier to transition from Blueprint to C++ than C++ to Blueprint. Also, when you start Unreal, it's good to get acquainted with Blueprint. You will learn how to do some quick prototypes easily. Often the tutorials are using Blueprint. You won't have a bunch of compilation issues or things like that. So it's a great tool to start. But when I started Unreal, my goal was to program, and I always felt guilty of using Blueprint. And what I like to say is that I hate to love blueprints because they work well. But the goal is to go on C++. So I will start Blueprint, and I'm going to show you how to convert to a C++ project. And after that, we're going to configure the VS Code. So let's create a project. Alright, it should open. Okay, cool. So what you want to do, first of all, you want to make sure it moves, and now you can go to Editor Preferences, and let's set up VS Code. You want to go to General, and after that you want to go to Source Code. and you want to select Visual Studio Code. So you can try the other one if you want, but this tutorial is focused on Visual Studio Code. For now, it's okay. So how do you convert into a C++ project? Well, first of all, let's create an actor. So let's go here and let's create a folder, and my basic actors. I will not go into the details of what are the different Unreal class, but let's just say that you will often work with actors. They are there, you can do almost everything with them, but I strongly suggest that when you dive more and more details in Unreal, learn the other class. So let's start with a blueprint class and select an actor, and now we're gonna call that BP my first actor. You should really put the effort of finding a good naming convention. I am guilty of it, of not doing it properly in my project, so it's a mess. So take the time, find a good naming convention, find a good folder organization. It's gonna help you a lot. So let's go in the actor. We don't want to do nothing special here apart from we want to create a new C++ class. And now we're gonna do all class, and I'm gonna common class. Sorry, I'm gonna take actor, and for now I'm gonna take public to tell you a little story about that, and I'm gonna try to tell you how to avoid a mistake I have done in one of my projects. So let's do a create class. Alright, this is done, and now we will close the it automatically opened that, but I'm gonna close it. Let's say you you did not have that window and you want to it to work properly. So I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna save. Let's see my level. Let's see, extract that, and we're gonna quit Unreal. If it's gonna save, alright, file, exit. Alright, so a bunch of things before we go on. What you should install. You should install the Visual Studio installer. Google. I will not cover how to get that. You simply need to try to install Visual Studio and you will get the Visual Studio installer. And then what you want. So I'm using Unreal 5.7. So there is something a bit special with that. When you build a project in Unreal, you need a couple of things. One of it is the MSVC build tools. They recommend to use 14.44, but to be honest, I had issues in the past with this version, and the 14.38 version is supported. Normally, I suggest to take the latest version, take the most recent version. But if you're like me and you're having issue, just go and take the 14.38. So you can go and install. You go to modify, and then make sure to have a desktop development with C++. And I have some here. I'm not sure if they are all required. I know you need this one. Take a note the three following. I think you need them as well. So I have the MS build, C++ Clang, .NET framework, and the one I'm going to talk about is MSVC. So basically, they tell you to take, they recommend to take 14.44, but not right here, build tools. But I have issue with it, and you might get some error about the white blacklisted version or something. So if you're in that situation, just take this version. It works well. So install that. Now about Visual Studio. I'm gonna close that. All right. So for your Visual Studio, what you want to do is first of all open it. I want to. Okay. So probably I have plugins I am not even using right now, but I'm going to tell you what I have. I have the C++ extension that you can go get right here. You can simply write the extension you want here. I have the ClangD extension, and I also recommend the GitHub Copilot. You have access to some free requests every month, even if you don't pay. And I don't mind vibe coding. It's fine if you work and you have a hard day and you are doing that as a hobby, and you need to learn AI tools because if you don't, it's gonna catch you at some point. So I recommend you get it. So that's the first thing. Now let's open the workspace. So I'm gonna open. Go there. I'm gonna go get my Unreal project, and we take this one, and we set a folder. Okay, this is the fun, and I'm gonna save you a lot of time if you are used with VSCode like me, that you work often with settings.json or launch.json, and you are not used to workspace. Forget about the setting, launch, and everything. Just click on workspace, open workspace. So I did not know. I didn't know that when I started. I created all my settings.json, my launch.json, and I copy pasted the content of the workspace, and it was a big loss of time. Just use the workspace. It goes well. As you can see, I already have some highlighting. This is great. But now, I want a couple of things. I want to get Intellisense. For me, Intellisense is the most important thing because Intellisense will give you suggestion on what is available. And once you get good suggestion, you know what is at your reach, and you can discover, and you don't always need to go on Google, and you don't always rely on the AI to know what you want. So now what we're gonna do is, first of all, let's close the project. We're gonna do something just to be sure. Okay, we're gonna close that as well. I want you to go into your project. You go Unreal project, this tutorial, this Intelli. All right, you need to right click. First of all, validate the engine version in case you install the previous version, 5.7. This is great. Now, right click and generate Visual Studio project file. It will do a couple of things. It will generate project files. Let's keep that easy. But another thing this does it will update your Intellisense. So normally, if I open my VS Code right now, this isn't the right one. New window. All right, let's just do here, file, open folder, and we're gonna get it. I could have used recent, but let's just go get it. And now we will take VS tutorial with Intellisense, VS Intelli, right? And I select the folder. So, if you open the workspace, you will have a couple of nice things. First of all, you should see all these launch options. This will allow you to compile the code and launch the editor. This is really great. And the current tutorial, I will not go in details on each of them, but we will probably use debug game at the end of the tutorial. First of all, do I have Intellisense? So let's try it. I'm just gonna ask, you know what? I'm gonna use my Copilot here. I'm gonna tell him Unreal context just to be sure. Context 5.7, and I'm gonna tell you him update my actor to add a mesh, a cube mesh, and cube mesh and constructor, and also debug on screen, hello world, every 5 seconds. But just before I send that, I forgot something important. I strongly recommend that you link your project to Git, so let's do that. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who likes it, but I like source tree. So I'm gonna open it. So if you don't know Git, it's basically a way to track your changes. You need to know Git and just learn Git. So let's do create. If you want, you could clone, you could have your own repo, but I won't go into the details. I don't mind a local Git. And I will go here, and VS Code with Intellisense right here. Alright, create. Alright. So, a couple of things. I like to keep the .vs code. This is great. I like to see the changes when they occur on that. However, you don't need to keep the save folder, because if you delete the save folder, it's going to be regenerated. So you don't really need to track it. Let's go and ignore this one. Alright. The source I want to keep. Intermediate, same thing. If the folder gets deleted, it gets regenerated when you build the project, so I don't mind ignoring it. Let's ignore everything beneath. Derive data cache, same thing. It's a folder that if you delete, it's going to be regenerated, so ignore everything beneath. This is a good question. The content in US, do you keep them or not? Probably the answer is not, and you should focus on the code files. But I like to keep them, and there is a reason I like to keep them. It's gonna detect if there is a change if I track them, and then I can know something happened and I can revert. Let me know in the comment if you think it's stupid or not, but I will track them. And let's go stage all. I'm gonna call that first commit. Oh shit. I don't want you to see my email, but we're gonna hide that. Alright. Commit. And you do the git flow. And now we can, the reason I do git flow is that it's easier to maintain. After that we can do features, release, etc. It's great. So let's do the git flow. Perfect. So I have my first commit. So what is nice about that is if my Copilot becomes crazy and do a bunch of changes I don't like, then I can easily discard them, spot them and discard them here, and I can do some great milestones. So this is perfect. So I'm coming back here. My goal is to show that the Intellisense is working, but I don't want to show it with the current situation. I want to add a cube mesh, and then we're going to see if it's properly detected. So I update my actor to add a cube mesh and constructor, and also debug on screen LOL every 5 seconds. Let's try that. So if you don't know, agent mode will code for you. Ask mode will answer your question. Plan is new. I need to learn about it. I did not take the time yet to check it. And edit mode. I did not really investigate it. I was not a big fan when I tried. I can get what I want with the agent and ask. So if you have this is a free account, so when you have a free account you still have these, and you have a couple of requests before you get, you can do a couple of requests and it's not that bad. And I think at some point I'm gonna just buy the premium models. So let's do it. I select, why do I select? Because it's gonna tell Copilot to focus on the current code. So it will help him find a response quickly. Alright, so now it should be able to update my code. I'm gonna let him think a bit, and during that time I'm gonna tell you something. So as you can see, Unreal asked me if I want public or private, and often if you ask a code example to the various LLMs like ChatGPT or Bing or whatever, they will often split the CPP into the private folder and the header into the public folder. And at first, I did a project like that, and at first it looked okay, and I was okay, I can live with that. But there is something I don't like, and there is a workaround. But it's not even a workaround, I think it's the way to go. So if you just use always private and public, the issue is that at some point you will have a bunch of class, and now you're always going to move between class, and it's going to be hard because they won't be side by side, so you might have some hard time getting to your class quickly. But the thing you could do is I'm just going to keep them, and we're going to check quickly. So as you can see, I have my mesh and my constructor. I have my timer every 5 seconds. It will print the debug message. Perfect. So you might say, oh, I still have bad warnings and everything. If you're right, and I could probably get rid of them by deactivating my Clang extension, but for now I'm gonna keep it because I'm not sure all of the consequences I will have if I deactivate it. So this looks great. So you can, you can go here, and if you don't see uncommented change, click F5. It's gonna refresh, and let's say I like that milestone. I'm gonna say there's my first milestone. All right. So, do I have Intellisense? Let's check. Cube mesh. Is it detected? Cube. Sorry, it should be detected. I think. At some point. Cube mesh. Okay, for now it's not detected, but we're gonna do something. So if it's not detected, but I was expecting it to be detected. Cube mesh. Cube mesh. Okay, it's not detected, but let's just try something. First of all, before I show you the trick to get the Intellisense working, I was expecting it to work for the first class, but let's just try something. We're gonna start the debug game, and we're gonna stop it when it's gonna try to launch the data. We just want to compile the game, and I'm lazy. I'm just gonna take the command right here. It should try to build your game, and it should work. As you can see, they ask to use 14.44. I don't mind the 14.38. So the first time you build, it's going to be a bit longer, but the next time it's going to be quicker. So I just want to... So it's going to build... What I was telling here about the private and public, what you could do, and I must not say, but you could create. I don't want to mess up. I'm going to talk about it after the compile. I just want to be sure I don't mess it up. Sorry for the long build. Alright, you can do it. Have I done something? No such file or directory. myActor.h. This is an issue. This is probably my Copilot that did something bad. We don't need that. Sometimes Copilot gets it, sometimes not. Now it should work, I think. And it's probably why the Intellisense was not working, because I thought it would be working. Let's try again. Cube mesh. The first time it might take a little bit more time. So you see, now I have my Intellisense, and don't worry. Yes, it was a bit longer, but it's often long just the first time, and after that it's quick. So I have my Intellisense. Great. This is exactly what I wanted. But I'm gonna show you something. So let's say a set static mesh. So alright, I have that. Okay. So perfect. The Intellisense is working. But now you must tell yourself, oh, but let's say I want a new class. Alright. Let's say you want a new class and you want Intellisense to work. I'm gonna show you something. Let's say I copy that. Alright. I'm gonna go here, go here, go here, go here. We're just doing a test, okay? And I'm gonna show you something that took way too much time on my side to find. So let's just rename every actor with actor 2. My actor 2. Just alright. And we should be fine. Let's do it easy. Alright, just not forget this. this is great. I think it's gonna be great. So the first reflex would be it's exactly the same code. Intellisense should work, and I lost so much time. You don't even know. So let's try it. Let's try to build, and let's try to see if it's detected. In theory, you don't even need to build it. Last time, it was the .h folder the problem, but let's just say maybe it's the build. So we're gonna build just to be sure. If you want to do a configuration that will not. Oh, sorry, I must have forgotten something here. Let's see. And now it should work. So if you want to avoid the editor to launch, what you could do is click on the wheel, and in theory you could. I'm gonna stop it. You could simply update. You could update the launch command. So here is your launch command. So probably somewhere here you could prevent the editor from getting launched. So today I will not do it, but maybe sometime I will show you how. But now we saw that that it compiled. So as you can see, it compiled. It should work. So will my Intellisense work? And the answer should be no. And this is where you might lose your air. So let's try here. And we're gonna let him think a bit, but it shouldn't be able to find any good suggestion. It's gonna give you some C++ suggestion that you don't want. Let's try it. Come on. Just it's a bit slow, sorry, but I really want to because it's loading right now. It's not. This is why you need a good PC to help with the tutorials. I just want to show you that. But, sorry. I'm just gonna retry to get it. Or if I do that. Ah, sorry. I was waiting for anything. This is what I wanted to show you. So right here we have the cube mesh, and we have some suggestion, but it's not really what we want. We want something more like this one, where if you go to I want those kinds of suggestions. So what's going on? Well, you have two choices. To get the Intellisense, you could go in your project, and every time you want Intellisense, re-click Generate Visual Studio project file, and it should work. This is the first option, but you don't want to do that each time. So let's try a better approach. You're gonna need Emerald run and save of Emerald Walk. So what will this do? It allows you to run a command after each save. So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna run the Intellisense command each time I save, and I'm gonna format my my screen. I'm gonna go get a VSCode settings that I will share with you in the description of the video. So I'm gonna take just not this one. Just want to open restant. So which one is it? Is it retry? I just need to double check which one is it. It's VSCode Unreal. I have it here, I think. So I just gonna do it. Alright. And I want that right here. Alright. And right here. So I'm gonna give you these commands to save you some trouble. So where is my workspace? My workspace is here, and I want the settings section. So I was not aware of that, but it's the equivalent of the settings.json if you're used to settings.json. Now add the section, and I'm gonna save. And what's the issue here? Sorry, I did not put it at the proper place. Now it should be fine. So format and save, yes. And I like to have a big width. I like that. And what am I running? I am running. Maybe I have a copy of the command. I do have a copy of the command. Let me just check. Maybe here or here. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give you the command and the description of the video, but it's gonna be the path to your Unreal build tool. Then you mention project files, and then project. You point to your you project, and this line. The fun thing with it, it's gonna generate the Intellisense when you save. So we're gonna try it. I'm gonna do that and save with Control S. And did it work? I think so. And we're gonna check. I have to check. There is a way. Go to output, and I can go on run and save. And as you can see, Intellisense data. This is great. So I hope it will work. And it's not working. This is not great. I'm gonna do something here. Maybe. Just want to be sure. Maybe I need to add the compile flag. Just want to be sure. My actor 2 should be. There is a way to know. It's normally you should see it if you go here. Do I have my actor 2? I don't have my actor 2, but we're gonna do something because I thought I could remove the compile flag, but it seems we need to keep it. So I'm gonna try to do compile. And now we're gonna retry. Just to be sure. And I hope it's gonna work, because if it does not, I'm gonna be sad. Alright, now let's hope it's gonna be properly detected this time. Really hope so. Well, we might be okay. It seems to be working, so probably we're gonna do something. Okay, we're gonna build a project just to be sure. I was expecting that to work. At first, I should have tested properly. We're gonna build. Alright, I don't mind. I don't want to start that. Now, let's try once again. Why is it not working? I'm gonna pause the video just one moment. Oh well, I think I found the issue. The issue is that I don't point the right view project, so please watch out. Don't do like I did. That was... Now, let's hope it works. I did not test, so let's try it. Alright, so I just want to go here. I'm gonna go grab my project. So an easy way to do that, let's go right here. You can copy path. Alright, so I can do that right here. And we're gonna put that right here. And right there. I think it's it's all. It's done. Whew. I hope it's gonna work because this would. What's the issue? What is the issue? I'm just gonna take this one. Okay, yes, they don't like the path. Sorry. Alright, sorry. So it looked complicated, but it was just me that was bad. With the slash on the bad side. Now, let's save. Now I think I should be fine, and I think I don't need to compile. So let's give it a try. Let's save, just to get the Intellisense working. So let's go to the output and save, and we're gonna just make sure this completes. If you're asking how do I save, it's Control S, just to be clear. So let's go to QMesh. And please work. This one. So don't forget, the first time it's long, or if you have a good PC, it won't be that long. And I have Intellisense. Thank God. I was afraid it would not work. So, if you want Intellisense, in summary, what you need, you either need to always go generate your project file with that, but for me, I want that every time I save. If you want that every time you save, use the run and save. This will allow you to go in your workspace. And where is my command? Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why it disappeared. That was weird. So I have editor, format and save to organize my imports, and I have the format style here. I could do some things to organize the imports, but for now I think it's gonna be okay. So let's check if the format and save is working. Does the format and save is working? I think we can check right here. And it works, you can adjust it in the way you want. So for me, this is even more important than the Copilot chat. I want a working Intellisense to get the suggestion, to know what is available to me, to get the information. So normally I should get the information here. No, yes, but maybe. Am I missing something here to get my info? Maybe. Yes, so as you can see, I can control click. So it's slow the first time. Well, it's slow. It should be Python. Python it's a lot quicker, but at least it's working. So it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And try to get a better PC. Well, it went here, but at some point it's gonna load, and after that, and you can see I can control click. So other things that are nice to know. I think I'm gonna go with this. We have our Intellisense. Yes, I wanted to finish my discussion on the private and public. So a lot of time Unreal will, if you go to ChatGPT or Bing or whatever, and you ask for Unreal code example, they will always put a file in the public, the header file, and a file in the private. And at first I was like, okay, it's fine. But when you start to have a big project, it becomes a problem, because after that you always need to navigate between the CPP file and the header file. So what I recommend you to do is you can, well, I didn't really test properly, I just read, but normally what you could do is, for the public, create an API. So everything that what we want to expose to the public, we go via an API, and we try to avoid, the most often of the time, we want to avoid modifying the file to avoid breaking stuff. And after that, I could do my actor.hash, and it's so great to have your header file right to your CPP file. It's a lot easier, well, in my sense, in my view. But today I'm not doing that, so I'm gonna restore that, and I'm gonna give you a couple. I am almost done. I'm gonna give you a couple more hints. Just want to do that. What are my last hints? Tips. I mean, my last tips. And on Unreal, if you create something, I'm gonna show you. So let's say I have a cube. Okay, I have a cube. So let's start the game. I should have an actor that has a cube that debugs a message. We're gonna see if it's working. So let's start the game. I hope it will. Oh, what's the issue here? What's the issue? Syntax error. We're gonna get rid of actor 2. We don't need it anymore. And we're gonna do something here. We're gonna, just to be sure, I'm gonna set the scale. So I'm lazy. I'm gonna vibe code and ask him to make sure cube is scale 1, visible and movable, just to be sure. Yes, so it did it, so let's keep that, but it's a bit, I'm just doing that right. I prefer this way, yes. Alright, let's build. So today we stay with debugging. It should launch the editor. It should compile and launch the editor. It does compile and it will launch the editor. Alright, so we are in game. So let's try to add the cube. I hope I can put it right here. Can I? Okay. If you wonder what I click F to me, or I'm not used to do blank projects, so I'm a bit surprised about a couple of things. Why is it not visible? Let me think. Why it's not working? Sorry, it was not visible because I took my old basic actor, my blueprint. But now, as you can see, we now have a C++ folder. C++ public, and now you can see the cube. One of the advantage of creating like a mesh or anything and the constructor is that it will be detected by the editor. So if I do something like that here, I can see a cube. So this is the cube we have coded right here. So normally if I play, it should debug hello world every 5 seconds. Does it? Does it? Maybe I missed something. And where is my cube? Okay. What is the issue? Why am I not seeing debug message? Let me think 1 second. Well, the answer was easy. It was not working because I was too much impatient. I selected 5 seconds. So if we wait, hello world, and another 5 seconds, it will hello world. All right. And we don't see the cube simply because the focus is not on the cube and the viewport. So I could maybe, what I could do is, I don't mind. Can I take, I'm gonna take the copy, and we're gonna do that, paste. Right. So we should get the hello world every 5 seconds. All right, this is great. So the thing is, now we're gonna show you live coding. So sometimes you want to code while you're in the editor. So let's say that I find the 5 seconds to be long. So I'm gonna go in my VSCode and say I want 1 second. How can I see the changes in Unreal? Well, you have live coding and you can use, I think it's Control Alt F11, live coding, and build succeed. So normally it will show. As you can see, it works. Perfect. Now, let's say I'm like, I want a cube, and I want, let's say, I'm gonna say I want to replace the cube by a sphere. Let's say that I want to replace the cube by a sphere. So let's say here, and let's say we're gonna check what is the path of a basic sphere. So add shapes sphere. So let's get the sphere here. Copy. Is it just copy? I think it's just copy. Copy. So I'm gonna do that here. And delete here. And I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna show you something. Another thing that took me way too much time to learn is the constructor and how it works. So let's say I want a sphere, and I say, oh well, I want to continue to code. So let's put it here. I don't have a sphere. Why? Because it's gonna be a sphere when it's constructed. So right now it was already added to the game, so it's not a sphere. So let's say delete. And you see, it's still a cube. So this is tricky. For the constructor, you can put components, but if you change your component, you need to restart your Unreal. So I'm going to show you. Save all. So like that, I'm just going to save like that. Perfect, perfect. And let's retry. So, oh, sorry. I saw stuff. My example was not that good because it was just text. So my example stays good. We're gonna, you know what? Just to prove my example was good, I'm gonna keep cube mesh text because the important part is here. So now, if I relaunch, I should have my sphere. Please don't keep the cube mesh name. And do I have a sphere? And as you can see, it's a sphere. So you need to learn more about that. You need to go learn about the life cycle of stuff. But what you can do if you want to an update, I am gonna try it, but I don't think I'm gonna lose too much time with it. I'm gonna tell it. You can use the onConstruction script to get the changes detected by Unreal. I did not test it before, but I'm new to it. So let's try it. Let's try. We're gonna find a material. So let's find the sphere material. Where is my sphere? So let's go to the. Let's go there. You can focus with the player start. You click F. And where is my arrow? Right here. Alright, I'm gonna add a sphere. Shape sphere. And I got my sphere. Sorry. Yes. Here, just close that. And let's say I'm gonna ask to put that on my. I'm gonna ask the Copilot to add that on my actor. So let's try it. So this is great. So let's go and ask him to do that. Alright, let's start that. Let's hope you can do it. On construction, yes, as you can see, but I don't want him to delete my constructor. Oh, okay, no, it's still here, but he put it above. I'm not sure I like that. I like to have the constructor first. I'm gonna keep, but I'm gonna replace it to be under. I find it weird. Oh, sorry. Ah, what have I done? Ah, I'm good. You know what? Okay, sorry. It's here. Sorry. Sorry for that. Alright. And now we will this is maybe not the best example. We're gonna try, but I think that for that I'm gonna need to rebuild it. My example is not that great. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. So Control Alt F11. I'm not too sure. Oh, no, okay, so that's a good point. And you know what? It closed because it was the game never had that, the actor never had that function when we started the editor. So you can easily use live coding on existing function, but for new function it's gonna give you issues. But it will also break my example. So let's reopen it. Oh no, sorry, I don't want to buy there. I don't want to go there. I want to be there. Let's do it by here. So we're gonna relaunch the editor. What's the issue? Do I have the issue somewhere? Normally. Okay, I have an issue. I'm gonna pause the video for 1 second. Well, just if you don't know, you can access logs right here, and basically it tells me that the F object finder should never be used outside of constructor. So I'm gonna tell my Copilot to fix that. Can you load it differently, considering statically? So I think he's gonna be fine. Yes, do it. Let's fix it. And don't forget to say please. Alright. I think it's gonna be alright. Alright. So my point is, now I needed to relaunch the editor. What we're gonna, my goal is to check that I can at least change the material when we construct the object by working with unconstruction. So to be able to stay in live coding. So we're gonna try it. It's a first for me too, because I simply read about it. So let's start. All right. So, what does it work? So let's find our player start. And do I have? We don't have our. I deleted it, or I did not save maybe. But we see the material, so the script worked. Now my question is, can I change the material without relaunching Unreal? So basically, I'm gonna get that here. Well, I want to get. Okay, let's add a sphere. I just want to get the material shape sphere right here, and let's take that. Oh, okay, that's fine. And let's take the copy, and let's try right here. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I expect. I expect that it will stay white, but I can probably redrag the component, the actor, and the editor, and hopefully it will have the new material. So let's try it. We just need to change that. No, sorry, just something wrong here. I just want to get that. I think it's. Is it that? Engine. I think it's that. Alright. Okay. Save. Control Alt F11. Is it white? I guess. I think so. Still white, but let's delete it. And it works. It's the first time, so it's still white here. So let's just do a last test. I suppose that if I rebuild, then it's gonna be fine. But at least I can avoid one restart of the game if I want. So what you should do is you can create your component and your constructor, but if you want to do adjustments on them, it would be better for you to do it on construction, so that you don't need to quit the editor every time you do a change. And don't forget, you can use live coding, but live coding will work for functions that already exist. You can change them. I don't think you can add function. Maybe I'm wrong. To be confirmed. So I think it's gonna be the last test for today. Just want to check if I quit. If I will get the ball right. So let's relaunch. Yes, relaunch. And I have my color. So thank you for watching. I hope it helped, and see you next time.